Today, we're talking PlayStation going digital only. So is this the beginning of the end for game ownership? Plus, GTA 6 is already proving people will pay for the Ultimate Edition. But the 30 frames per second rumors are starting to really sting. And a mysterious Metroid rating may have just spoiled Nintendo's next big Switch 2 reveal. Stick around for all those stories and more. Welcome, friends. It's good playing with you. Your weekly gaming news roundup. I'm Dan Whitehill, and we have a packed show today. PlayStation going digital only, GTA 6 updates, and what's this with possible new Metroid? Before we jump in, though, let me introduce the crew. First up, please welcome my disc-defending co-host, Matt Lord.
Hey, how's it going?
Lord, always great to have you here, especially on a week where we're talking about the possible death of physical games. R.I.P., buddy.
Crazy. Yes.
Crazy.
Good to be here.
And joining us again this week, please welcome our intern extraordinaire, behind-the-scenes MVP, and my nephew, Zach Kohler.
What's going on, guys? Glad to be back.
Woo!
Great to have you back, buddy. As always, we're excited to get your thoughts on why Lord is such a boomer about physical media. All right, so let's get into the headlines of the week. First up, we have to talk PlayStation going digital only. That's such a huge story. We have a lot to unpack here. Basically, for those of you who are living under a rock, Sony confirmed this week that starting in January 2028, all new PlayStation games will stop being produced on physical discs. Games already released or games already planned for disc release before that cutoff are not affected. Sony says the move reflects changing consumer behavior, and the numbers back that up. In Sony's most recent quarter, 85% of full games on PS4 and PS5 software sales were digital, and for the full fiscal year, digital made up 78% of those sales. So, gentlemen, let's dive in. Does this seem like the next natural step? Is this the end of something important? How are you reacting to this? First, Lord, let's go with you.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. Let's start here. Here we go. I think it is honestly the natural order of things. I mean, it was bound to happen, but I don't think anybody was willing to actually accept it into reality, as the internet quite literally made clear. The internet exploded over this news. Every feed that I'm a part of is just so anti-Sony right now, and it's a crazy headline. And I would have as a console player, and I just figured this wouldn't be something that we would need to worry about until next gen, at least. Doing this now in the midst of the PS5, where there's still a disc drive available, you can still go out and get the physical copies, no problems. There's still a demand there. I was in complete shock. This
Well, they're
news would just be
saying
crazy.
it's just starting in 2028, so we do have a couple more years of discs left.
We do.
And is this a signal of the next generation? Do you think next gen consoles will be, coming out in 2028, and that's really what they're gearing up for?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, potentially. I don't think it's going to be 2028, though. I think we're still going to be sitting with our PS5s in hand, and we're not going to have any discs at that point. And that's going to be wild. And just for anyone out, it's just great. I'm just out here, I'm like, what discs should I buy? I mean, you got two. These are going to start becoming rarities very quickly, very fast, faster than I think we think it's going to happen. So
do you think they'll become more like collector's items and people will try and buy more discs right up to the end?
I definitely think so. I feel like people have already started doing that without this announcement. Now you're going to start seeing serious buy-ups of physical discs. I promise you that. We need to follow up on that, and that will be an interesting takeaway to see what happens there.
Yeah, I'm really curious because I hadn't thought of that, and you're right. It makes sense. And even if you want them from a collector's perspective, I mean, maybe if you're our age, and now Mr. Kohler, I'm glad to have you back as our resident college kid. And as a digital native, does this news sound like only boomers care? Does it sound like, do your generation even give a shit about digital? Or are they so used to it that it's so much easier that physical games aren't a non-issue?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, it is sad. The collecting aspect of it totally makes sense. I've grown up on Like I still have all my old games on disc, but yeah, I don't really care about this one. I said it last episode. My Xbox has no disk drive, and
Boo.
that's since 2020. And I'll tell you, all my friends, like I don't know. I don't have a buddy who owns a disc, and like we play off their disc. It's all everything's digital. Yeah, discs have been pretty dead for me and almost everyone I know. So I don't want to speak for my whole generation, but I'll say my side of things, they're definitely dead. So I don't really care, but it's definitely sad to see them go. Like I like going back and I have binders of just old games, all my 3DS games. It's sad to see all those go. So yeah.
I mean, yeah, think about the borrowing aspect that you're not taking advantage of, Zach. Think of that. You can just like go over. I mean, even Dan and I, we're out here like we would be trading back and forth games all the time. And that isn't even going to be a possibility, which is, I know, just a factor. It's crazy. This whole thing.
I think you hit the nail on the head for me is that I agree. I understand what Zach, like,
Yeah.
look, the digital's the future, that sort of stuff. But the fact that Sony came out and said this and they didn't even touch on game, like sharing with your buddy after they are famous for that video, which they're totally getting mocked for now.
Oh, yeah.
I was blown away. Nintendo went above and beyond when they started their digital push and said, look, this is how you loan it. You have to be in the same space and it's an animation of your cart leaving and your digital game goes to your friends and you see it inserted and it's only there for 2 weeks. Even Steam has Steam Family where you can kind of pool your games and you can't play the same game at the same time, but some games you can share on a whole Steam Family plan. But this one, Sony, I mean, they really just didn't say anything. That was completely shocking to me.
The little blog posts they had, like, honestly boiled my blood. It was so short, so unceremonious. I was just like, what? This, like, it seemed very, like, clueless corporate. They're just like, and nobody cares. And I don't think they were ready for the heat that they got. They were not. I guarantee you they thought this was going to be just kind of a non-issue. I think they thought like how Zach feels. Like I think there's like this is a non-factor. People are buying digital games more often than not, but there are still plenty of people out there that are buying physical games, and they have some sort of connection to these games enough to go crazy on the internet. Like it really lit it up this week. Crazy.
Agreed. But so Zach, I'm just curious from your perspective, like, is your generation so used to digital games that not having a sharing feature is not important? Or is that like something that you hope they announced, or could it sway your decision in the future when it comes to console purchases?
So for me, I'm on Xbox. And so whenever I want to share a game, I just full game share my account and you get a certain number of those a year. And so I'm not really switching my account with people more than 2 or 3 times a year. And I think that's what it gives me. I've never had any issues. So I like that with the digital games, at least on Xbox. I think it is really dumb that PlayStation doesn't have anything like that. And they should, I think
Well, they have the
there
game
should
share
be
thing too.
Yeah.
Though. I mean,
do they? Okay.
Technically,
It's like
all illegal.
yeah,
like we're not
loophole.
supposed to be talking
Yeah.
about it.
Oh,
You're
well,
not supposed to do it. But I agree. Like, man, if that went away, I would literally
And
flip my shit.
there's people out there that are saying that's the next thing to get the kibosh. So Dan, buckle up. That's going to be like the next thing.
This
I
podcast
guarantee
is
you.
going to catch fire with my rage if they
Well, I
take
mean,
away
why
my
wouldn't
digital
they?
license system.
I feel like this thing has been backed by just it's like greed backed. There's like nothing else to it. I think that's what's so frustrating is because it's just clearly they want this, they want control, they want the price to remain high for digital games, and then on top of that, it's like I don't think they're gonna let you share those games. They're gonna get like the Netflix like password sharing, Disney Plus, like they're gonna they're gonna crack down on that. I don't think that's gonna be sticking around much
Okay,
longer.
that I
Okay,
sure
I
hope
know.
not. That is crazy. But okay, so leads me to my next question. Now we'll talk about Xbox in a minute, but if they say Helix is coming out with a disk drive or an optional disk drive and will still support disks for going forward, does that sway your decision in the next generation of which console you would potentially get? And I know that they're going to be expensive. I know we should wait. Blah, blah, blah. We can have that discussion later. But would this change, your loyalty? Would you turn your back on PlayStation for an Xbox if they supported disc? And because remember, Xbox tried to go digital back in like 2013 or whatever with Xbox One, and they got just totally raked over the coals. Well, now Sony's doing exactly that. Could it hurt their console sales in the future? Zach, does this matter to you at all?
No. This one, yeah.
I thought I had that answer. I was like, I think I know where Zach's going with this. Yeah. But well, for me, I mean, definitely, potentially, absolutely. I mean, I would have to kind of start over disc collecting on the Xbox, like I have been, because I'm with Zach. I do have this Series S, and I did initially buy that to get Halo Infinite, which was just a dud. But
Yeah.
so I have the S, and so I would need to start back over. That would be a whole nother, lot of hoops to jump through, because I have a lot of physical stuff on Switch and PS5. So yes, it would definitely have, like, I think that would make me, want this. Yeah, like it would be like, that would be a selling point for me. Yes. And I think that would be a selling point for a lot of other people who want physical copies.
I agree, and unfortunately, like the latest rumors on the internet is that Xbox could be following the Sony move here. Yeah. But I think, man, this would differentiate their console. This could be a really big deal. They should probably do this. But from what we're hearing on the internet, it doesn't sound like they're going to. Reporting says Microsoft's next system, Project Helix, is also expected to launch without a disk drive, and that Microsoft is exploring ways to digitize physical games instead of relying on discs at all. So essentially, you would put your disc in, and it would like assign it an ID code, and then you could take your disc out and you would own it digitally on your console. But then if it, like, I guess, was registered somewhere else, it would deregister it at yours. I think that's kind of what they're trying to think. Now, this wouldn't work I think this works for, the everything was at the Xbox One and the Series. It would not work for the original games and the 360. But would this be something that would interest you guys? Would this help ease the pain of moving towards digital, or is this just like, nice to have, but not that big of a deal? Zach, what do you think?
I'm on the fence of it's nice to have, but it's not that big of a deal. I don't really, I don't know. I think it's definitely, I don't know. I just like, I don't know. I think it's really, if you like discs, cool. If not, I don't know.
Yeah. Or this one, it's kind of like a weird one to me. If you're going to go all that way to create this little piece of hardware that's going to digitize your discs, you might as well just have a disk drive at that point and let physical stay physical for that generation. It just seems like a lot of work for, like, not a lot of payoff for me. So, I mean, it'd be cool, but I don't see that. Like, I just don't think that, to me, that sounds like something that they just kind of like maybe PR cooked up, and they're like, maybe that would be cool, huh? And it's like, no, I don't think that would be a reality.
I'm telling you where this is coming from. Look, I think Xbox is looking for any excuse to grow its sales of its console without making games. The one thing that Xbox does not want to do is invest money in games, because unfortunately Xbox wants to have, like, we'll talk about the problems they're having, especially when they do their big layoffs, which are unfortunately being rumored the next week or so. So I've got a long diatribe and thoughts about that. But this is something I guarantee you that Phil Spencer was cooking up. He would go on podcast after podcast. If I'd had a podcast back in the day when he was around, I would have invited him. But he was going around talking about how, we can't get people on Xbox, because their digital library is on PlayStation. If we hadn't lost in the Xbox One round, people would have a library here. It's kind of like Epic. They're like, we're giving away free games in our Epic store on PC because we want people to build up a library, and then they're going to be more loyal. I see where they're going with this. I still think old games are old, and if you just make a really badass game, people will give you money hand over fist, like GTA, which we'll be talking about. But I'm just telling you, people are flipping out. They're throwing their money as fast as they can at Rockstar right now. They're making $1 billion the first hour or whatever because they're making badass games. But these other companies are like trying to like find little ways to shave off profit here and there. And I think this is just one of those things that's like bullshit, whatever, but nice to have, I guess. But it's not going to turn the tide. And it's like, you know what? You're kind of wasting your time, because if you built a badass game, then that's something that would interest people in their console.
Yeah, good point.
So,
let's just say, I mean, if they want to build the feature, great. I mean, I don't think there's, I mean, I would like to know what the Xbox physical sales are. I don't know if we know those right off the top of our head, but like, are people buying? I don't feel like you see physical Xbox games as much as you do PS5 anyway. So it's like,
people can say that's because they're buying less of a thing.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. That's kind of what it's just like, who knows if that would even, it would be like a non-factor, because people don't even have discs for the Xbox at all anymore right now.
Agreed. All right, now let's switch and talk about the nitty gritty of this digital transition and what it means for ownership of games. So a lot of the backlash this week is really about what people lose when discs go away. Physical games can be resold, shared, lent out, and in some cases played offline in a way that digital purchases just can't match. And that's why this has hit a nerve with so many people. Sony became famous back in 2013 for its making fun of Xbox's original digital restrictions, which is old "this is how you share your games" ad. And now, more than a decade later, it's the one walking away from discs. Sony has explained why it's doing this, but it has not announced any new consumer-friendly system that replaces it. And basically, what's happening here is you're no longer going to lend these games out because you don't really own them. What you're getting here is a digital license. So do you think that people understand the trade-off here and the fundamental change that's happening in the industry? And does it matter? Zach, again to you for your generational take on this one. Sorry to just put everything on you, but does it matter? Do you realize that, with a server or internet outage, you lose absolutely everything? Or in the case of Sony, which just the last week decided they no longer are going to support movies that they sold on their service, removed movies. So therefore, any games you buy, they could just decide to remove at any point because you don't own them. Is that anywhere in the zeitgeist? Yeah. Yeah. Is that anywhere in the zeitgeist, or is that just like, meh, old games are old and who cares?
I don't know. I just really struggle to like see a future where that happens, where something happens and everything goes down and I lose all the games I've ever bought. That to me is really hard to see. I think that would take a lot, and I kind of have my trust in Microsoft and Sony to not let that happen.
That's hilarious that you say that, Zach, because I was gonna say the trust for these companies, like, fuck, I cannot trust these companies. Like, they do unhinged shit and they get away with it. Like, they take away movies out of people's libraries. Also, this news couldn't have come at a funnier time, because that whole thing about the movies was such I was just like, dude, how are people not rioting in the streets over this? Like, they're taking away movies that you purchased, not getting any compensation, and they're just like, and business as usual, it's just an average Tuesday. And then it's like, no, I don't know. The trust in Sony and them, like, allowing them to just be in control of the games that I'm playing or what I'm seeing or whatever their little algorithm is cooking up behind the scenes. Like, I do not trust it anymore. Like, I haven't for a while, and I'm curating my little library of physical games, and also another really good, another factor that I've been actually kind of entertaining is going to the library and renting games, because my daughter loves to go to the library, and I go and I pick up some games. Like I picked up Kirby's Forgotten Lands, and then I picked up Lies of P for the PS5 and was messing around. And I'm like, see, like this kind of thing is actually going to go away as well. No more library loaning. And because like I don't know, I think there has to be some sort of loan factor to make like stem the riots that could potentially happen over this. I don't know how that's going to look, but Sony needs to figure something out.
Yeah, it does make me a little bit nervous here too. I mean, Zach, you've got a point, and I understand the ease of use, but you guys didn't have to live through, or you probably don't remember like the month-long outage we had with the PlayStation 3. Like they were hacked, hackers wiped out their network, and it took them over a month to rebuild their multiplayer network. And if that happened with like a digital license system, it would be a nightmare. What was it like just 4 or 5 years
No.
ago? Maybe it was a little bit longer, that that hacker group did a denial of service attack on I know it was on Xbox or whatever, and they did it during the holidays, and they were posting online about how like, oh,
Yep.
go be with your family, and I'm like, I live in
Mm.
California, my family, I already visited
Yeah.
them and all that sort. Don't tell me, to visit my family when I want to play. And so that led me to actually go buy Assassin's Creed Odyssey on disc, because I was like, that's such a huge game. If I need an emergency game, at least I've got this disc that I can
Yeah.
throw in and work, and it'll play. That won't work. Like if something goes wrong, if there's some sort of hacker, and they literally are putting all of their eggs in this digital basket, I'm telling you, there will be a time something happens. I don't know for how long or what it is, but it will go away. The way some of these licenses work now, like if it's on your home console, it only checks the license like once a week or whatever. So it's not so bad. But it could be like if that Sony situation happens again, it just makes the whole system so vulnerable. And
Yes.
then and like what you said with the movies and stuff, like them taking license away, it just
Poor timing.
yeah.
But also a PSA for anyone just curious, because I see a lot of people out there saying like, well, these discs are just license
Ugh.
keys anyway. And so for anyone who's curious, you can go to does it play dot something. You can just Google does it play, and it will tell you the exact specifications of these games. So if you need to get a patch, if you can do it offline, and trust me, plenty of these games do not need a single bit of internet to install and play on your system. That is like, honestly, who spread that lie? Like, I want to smack them in the face. I think that was like truly
That's your generation.
Zach.
And you gotta
That is
rat them out right now. We want to
you.
know, because they are annoying
Yes,
online.
Zach. Please, if you hear that slander, tell them
Tell them
like,
to come talk to us.
yes, please. I will have words with them, because it is such a lie that I hear so much. It's in every comment section. Just like either the ignorance, or I don't know what it is. Like it's very strange, but it's incorrect. So I just had to say it.
No, I agree, and I could go on about the importance of physical games, but I do recognize where we're headed at, and I'm going to be dragged into the future, kicking and screaming. But
Yes, me too.
because it is what it is. But another angle of this story, though, that I want to take a look at, though, is, the businesses around physical media and what's going to happen. Now, of course, when we heard these discs were going away, I think the first thing everyone thought was like, oh man, GameStop is screwed. But funny enough, they might not be. In its most recent quarter, only 18.3% of GameStop sales came from software, while 41.8% came from collectibles and 40% came from hardware and accessories. So no, this probably does not kill GameStop, even though I think we've all been waiting for it to die for such a long time.
Yeah.
Well, who knows? Maybe they'll get eBay. Who knows? But
That'd be crazy.
the same cannot be said for everybody else. There are smaller companies whose entire business is built around physical releases, collector's editions, boutique print runs, and the preservation-minded packaging. If Sony really is ending discs in 2028, those are parts of the business that could be under much more pressure than the average consumer realizes. I do think a lot of these publishers were caught off guard about this. They've got teams on these companies, in these publishers, that just handle these physical releases, and And now what's going to happen to these people, or how is it going to work? I mean, do you guys think if physical games fade out completely, that like what happens to collector editions and boutique publishers, and then do these sorts of things go away, or will they find a new way to do them, or do they not even matter? Zach, what do you think?
Pour one out for GameFly. I think it's
No,
over.
right?
I don't know. I think a lot of these businesses that like for GameFly, I don't know how you do that. I think GameStop will be fine. Like more times than not, when I go to GameStop, I'm looking at the games and I end up buying a pack of Pokemon. I think they'll kind of lean into that. I think it does suck for a lot of these smaller businesses because I don't really know how you're going to sell these games. So that's going to put like a lot of businesses who depend on it, that's going to kill them. I think that definitely does suck.
Lord.
Yeah. I mean, definitely going to put pressure. I mean, I would be 100% surprised if Xbox doesn't follow suit with Sony, Microsoft follows suit with Sony. So I mean, without physical game, and then I think Nintendo's like already there. Like they have game key cards. They want you to go digital already. Like they like kind of low key led the charge, as even though they they're
Right,
not
like
in this combo.
$80 games or all digital. Oh
Yeah,
man, we
I
can't do
know.
both because people flip out. Let's just go $80 games.
I know.
That was their boardroom. I guarantee you.
And so, so like GameStop, I think, I mean, it is interesting. You go into a GameStop, it is just like full of like little merch and stuff, which is cool. People are really into that right now. But man, I don't know. I think there could be some sort of like underground, disc printing type of thing that you might see pop up. Like if an
I would
indie
love
developer,
that.
yeah, like if
Yeah.
there's an indie developer, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know fully what goes into getting a Blu-ray disc or something along those lines printed. I'm sure it's a freaking pain in the ass. But I could
Well, they
see
already
that
have
happening.
they have limited run
Yeah,
games who does it
totally.
now, but man, they've got to focus on the old stuff if this new ones aren't even going to have
Well,
disk
yeah,
drives. So
that's
they're
true.
yeah, so they're really going to have
True.
to focus on older stuff, and the future could be totally
Ugh.
screwed.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true. I guess if there's nothing to play it on, it would be cool if they somehow, like throw it back to the, HD DVD type of thing where you could plug it into your 360 and then you can have a little, like, I mean, they already have it now. Like, is that too much to ask? A little accessory, maybe even third party? Like,
Apparently, yes. Yes, it
it
is,
is.
Lord. You're
It
going to
is
have
too
to
much.
let go and let God. I think
Seriously.
one thing I definitely see is I do see like at least physical boxes or collector's editions sticking around because anytime they have a chance to make more money, these companies are going to go for it. Now, it's only going to be with the AAA games, but they're definitely going to do their statues and collectibles and all that sort of stuff. I think as it is now, a lot of these Ultimate Edition collectible sorts of things for $250 or whatever, some of them still already come with a digital code in there, and it's just about getting the merch. So I don't necessarily see that going away. But here's where I'm really concerned. Going all digital means that we're losing a whole secondary resale market that keeps prices low. And
Mhm.
suddenly we've got a future where everything has a digital price that can be flipped, especially right now where people are adjusting prices already and they're doing dynamic pricing and they're testing things. Look, this is how monopolies happen. And sure, people are on PC are like, hey, PC people, oh, we haven't had discs in forever. We've got Steam, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, buddy, don't rely on those Steam sales too much because A, Steam has a monopoly on your PC
Yes.
because nobody can be lower than them. They've got all of these rules like about when you can be listed in the others. Steam is a monopoly for sure, and nobody can have a lower price than them, and they're just not being busted. But I see the problem, and I see collusion. I mean, look, the collusion happening with the RAM market right now in Rampocalypse. It's
Yep.
I mean, I'm not, maybe not that scale and maybe not that swift, but it's a possibility with these digital storefronts, and dynamic pricing is a guaranteed situation here. I'm going to log in because I play all the time and I'm going to see a high price. And then Zach there is going to play just a couple of games a year. He's a college student. They know his age. They know where he's logging in from. They probably has his university IP address, and they give him a much lower price for the same exact game than they will me. And that's what really has me concerned, is that there's going to be some gouging. There's going to be some pain. It might not be tomorrow. It definitely won't be, in 2028, but I'm saying 2020, 2030 or something like that. Man, we could be in for a world of hurt if they have everything sewn up and they are the only people selling on these platforms and they have a monopoly. So what do you guys think about that?
That's some 1984 shit going on. It literally, it's just upsetting. Like, I couldn't agree more. Even right now, you can go and buy a physical game at Walmart for $20 physical, and then you go on to the PlayStation store and it's $70. You're like, how the hell does that make sense? Like, it's a digital game. If this happens and then they adjust prices for the digital game price needs to come down to a realistic level. You're not getting anything. It's literally a digital, it's megabytes in the ether. Like, it should be $30 or something. Like, I don't understand. Like, it is crazy to me that these digital prices are already so high. Buckle up when these things are the only ones around. It's gonna suck, and we're not gonna see the sales like we used to. It's gonna be a trash.
Zach, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm definitely nervous for that too. I think like too many times where like I said last episode, I'm an EA gamer. And so if I wanted to buy Madden 22, it'd cost me the same amount of money as Madden 26 on digital. That's crazy. That if that starts happening with other games, that would definitely make me really nervous.
Yeah, and like the Call of Duties, that previous Call of Duties are still like, $60 or whatever on the stores. You're just like, what? Like, this is insane. So I'm not looking forward to it. I would love for, I don't know what kind of, see, again, these companies can get away with whatever. So there's no policing going on here. It's just, they're going to do what they want and they're going to be able to get away with it. And the consumer is going to be the one paying for it.
Well, true, but also look, the one precedent that I did think about in terms of this is, didn't Fortnite? I mean, Fortnite might come to save us all because they are the ones who set the precedent by suing Apple and allowing themselves to offer a different storefront on the Apple iOS platform, which was a closed ecosystem. And so suddenly they could sell their own V-Bucks directly and not have to give some of the money to Apple and stuff. So I have to research closer to what happened there. But if other storefronts are suddenly available on these consoles, which maybe the Helix will do, it could be great. But that Steam already has a monopoly on PC. So it's just still not enough players in the space. Look, the Rampacalypse happened with 3 providers. So we're looking at 3 providers here, so that's all I'm saying. It's just crazy. Yeah. It's just crazy. And speaking of crazy, let's talk about GTA, because I always want to talk about GTA because I'm super pumped for it, and anytime I can bring it up on the pod, I definitely will. But B, it sounds like $100 is the real game, and $100 is what people are really playing. So maybe we're the only ones who care about keeping prices low, because I just read today that essentially the $100 version of the game is the one that most people want. IGN ran a poll where 70% of responders said they were going for the Ultimate Edition, and now Vice is reporting that more than 80% of PS5 pre-orders were for that version. So if that's even remotely accurate, then Rockstar pretty much just successfully launched a $100 game here. They didn't even launch an $80 game. That was the make them look good sort of price. But then they were able to put in enough sort of extra features and that sort of stuff that people are really playing a $100 game. So when we talk about Mario Kart being an $80 game and super expensive, really GTA 6 pretty much is a $100 game. So are you guys surprised by so many people willing to jump straight into the $100 version, or are you with them? Zach, why don't you go first?
I'm not surprised by this. I'm getting the $100 version. I think the $100 version's worth it. But honestly, I don't think if other games were to try and do what GTA is doing, I don't think it would work as well. I think we've waited too long for GTA 6,
Yeah.
and there's been so much hype that if you're going to make the Ultimate Edition $20 more, it's hard for me to say, yeah, I've been wanting the game for 13 years, but I'm going to skimp out on $20 because I don't really care that much. No, I'm going to go get the $100 game. So I don't know. I don't think like Mario Karts are kind of that'd be a little different. I think like there are some IPs I think that could pull it off, but I think it'd be hard for just a regular like Call of Duty could never do this, you know? So
Yeah.
Agreed. Great point. Great point.
I mean, I'm absolutely baffled. I cannot believe so many people have pre-ordered this damn game, even though it's digital, and they colluded with Sony to kill physical media together. Like, I don't know. I'm kind of like had it out for GTA 6 at this point because they are just like their silly pre-order business with the no physical games, and then this news. I'm like, dude, red flag after red flag, and people are out here shelling out $100. I mean, I know, Zach, no shade, but like it just, I don't know. I still am gonna just hold off. Like
Well,
I'll
last I
wait.
checked, both of you are holding off, and I was the only one who was pre-ordering. Right, right. That's where we
Yeah,
are. That's where we left the
yeah, but I think Zach
last
got it
episode.
now.
I'm
Zach's
I'm
in?
holding off, but not
Oh, you're
because
holding off.
well,
Okay.
not because I want to. It's for financial reasons.
Yes, yes,
$100 is a lot of money.
yeah, it
Spoken
is for
like a
sure.
true college student. I
Yep, yep.
totally hear you. But I think Zach hits nail on the head when it's like, I've been waiting for this game for 13 years. So
That's
you're
totally
damn
true.
right. I'm not going to skimp out on it. So it does justify that $100 price tag. And it just sucks the whole, like, it sets a precedent that's making a bit nervous though. Like, with other games trying to get a little bit greedier. I mean, I know this sort of thing has been around forever, but I don't know. I could see more games trying it. And like Zach said, I don't think they'll be as successful or whatever. But I could see other, publishers trying to do that sort of thing too. So it makes me a bit nervous.
100%. Definitely seeing more $100 price tags or $80 price tags after this one. This is going to
Yep,
lead the way.
yep. But Lord, you also had a story about GTA.
So, Digital Foundry is throwing some cold water on the recent rumors that GTA 6 will run at 60 FPS
I
on
knew it.
current gen consoles.
I knew it.
Anyone out there, frames per second is FPS for anyone not knowing. So, according to the team, the biggest problem isn't graphics horsepower, it's the CPU. GTA 6's massive open world, dense crowds, advanced AI, vehicle physics, and simulation systems are all expected to push the PS5, PS5 Pro, and Xbox Series X to their limits. Since the PS5 Pro only has the modest CPU upgrade over the standard PS5, Digital Foundry doesn't believe that it'll be enough to make a stable 60 FPS mode realistic. Instead, they think Rockstar is light. It will likely target a locked 30 FPS, with a 40 FPS mode being the most realistic compromise for players with 120 hertz displays. That would offer noticeably smoother gameplay without requiring the CPU to double its workload. Of course, none of this is official. Rockstar hasn't confirmed any performance modes yet, and recent retail listings mentioning a 60 FPS option could simply be placeholder information. But if Digital Foundry's analysis is right, fans hoping for 60 FPS on consoles may want to temper their expectations for now. So, is this a deal breaker for you? Are you an FPS snob like me? What do you think, Zach?
Yeah, I'm curious, Zach. Are you?
Yeah.
Or do you not
I
care?
do think this is really disappointing. I think like when I'm playing a game, I don't specifically notice it, but it's something that I am like you can if you play a game long enough, you can definitely tell the difference. And so this
Mhm.
is really disappointing. I think the whole purpose of next gen should have been to be able to run these types of games. So like the fact that it can't is kind of crazy. I don't really understand that. I think that's sad, but I don't think it ruins the game. I don't think it will sway me from buying it. I'm still gonna buy it, but I do think it's disappointing. Yeah.
I definitely think it's disappointing too, but they had to save something for their next gen version. I
Yeah.
guarantee you they're already making that next gen version for the consoles that will probably launch, if you ask me, in 2028, which will be overpriced and no one will buy, but that's a whole different story. I think they're just like, we're fine with 30. I think realistically here, it's a bummer, but how much of a bummer, that remains to be seen. Some games are okay at 30 frames per second, and some games are really not okay. I can tell you the first time I played Assassin's Creed, I set it between 30 and 60 frames, and it was a game changer because it was so buttery smooth at 60. Even if it didn't have all the ray tracing and all that sort of stuff, I didn't care because I could move through the world so quickly and it moved so smoothly and it looked so good. It didn't bother me at all. But then you get a game like John Carpenter's Toxic Commando, and yes, I know that's not the pinnacle of human evolution when it comes to frames per second, but when you had it on the like the prettiest setting or something like that, it on console it went like, I don't know, maybe like 15 frames or, I mean, it made me want to throw up. It
It
was the most
chugged.
piss poor experience. Oh, it chugged up. I was like, shit, I'm gonna have to fucking return this game. And then I was like, right before I like raged, like quit, I was like, oh, let me just check these video settings because maybe it's my TV. And I switched it to the performance mode, and all of a sudden it was like, you know what? This game's already ugly anyway. Well, I don't even know why they have a quality mode or whatever. I stayed in performance. I was happy in 60 frames, and I continued to play that game even though it's not that great. So my point here is A, little long-winded, I know, but B, it really depends on the game. I'm sure this thing's going to be amazing, regardless of the frame rate at launch. I think we're going to be so happy to have it, we won't give two shits. And then I do think that they're going to try and sell it to us again in 2 more years.
I think you're right about them selling it again. Of course, that's an easy thing for them to boost later on, and then they can say, listen, look at this, look at these frames. But in my case, I mean, we've been getting spoiled with 60 FPS. I think it looks good. And then you have some
Mm-hmm.
games out here that are 120 FPS, and that looks even more incredible. So it's like, I'm a little surprised, to be honest. Like I am with Zach. I think we have waited long enough for them to optimize the hell out of this game, and these are next gen consoles that should be able to perform as you would expect them to. So 30 FPS is like that. I mean, it feels a little bit wonky to me. Like it should be like 40 is okay actually, because you can do some stuff on the Steam Deck in 40. It looks good, but 30 is like, I don't know. Are we back to the PS2, like with PS3? What's going on here? So I don't know. We'll have to see. I'm sure it probably won't be a huge problem, but I don't know. And who knows? Maybe it's a non-story and they'll come out and it'll be 60 FPS anyway. But I trust
Yeah.
Digital Foundry. They're typically pretty spot on with their analysis.
They are the
So
authority for sure.
they
And,
are.
and and look, when we were talking about pre-orders, I know the right answer is don't pre-order. There's never a reason to pre-order. This is one of those examples because you don't know how a game is going to come out, and it might look great. And I can't tell you the number of trailers I saw for Crimson Desert and how great it looked. And then I got my hands on it. I was like, this does not look like this other one over here. But they did lots of patches and work. And yes, I'm going to pick it up for sale over Christmas or whatever. But my point is, look, I know the right answer on all this pre-order business is just don't do it. I know the upgrade is like, don't do it. Wait. But I'm a hype lover, and I'm just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm going in right away on this one, even though it makes no sense to pre-order. So I just want to say that you guys are probably doing the right thing when it comes to the whole pre-order business, even if it just comes down to a matter of money.
Yeah.
But I salute you in that, and I totally understand. Whereas I'm like, nope, gotta get in. I want the stupid box day one.
No, I'm glad you're getting the box with the digital code. I want can you give me the box at least after you're done with it, please? I want to hang on
Hell
and
no, it's
smell
gonna
it.
sit right back right
I can't,
there,
you're not
right
gonna let me
there.
smell it? Oh, what the
Oh yeah,
hell?
smell it. Yeah, you can sniff, bro. You can scratch and sniff.
All right, cool. All right. That's all I need.
And then wait, I also wanted to talk about that Metroid. Like you had said
Yes.
something about that. Tell me all about that.
Yeah. So a new Metroid game may have just leaked before Nintendo was ready to reveal it. According to reports, Brazil's Ministry of Justice briefly published an age rating for a game called Metroid Ravenous before quickly removing the listing. While the page didn't reveal much, it did list a 2026 production year and screenshots that were captured before it disappeared. If the leak is legitimate, many fans believe this is more likely to be a brand new 2D Metroid rather than another Metroid Prime game. That's because Metroid Dread launched nearly 5 years ago, while Metroid Prime 4 only recently released, making a side scrolling sequel seem like the more likely candidate. Of course, nothing has been confirmed by Nintendo, and ratings board leaks aren't always accurate, but they have revealed major games ahead of schedule in the past. So, this could be our first hint that Samus's next adventure is closer than we thought. So, I wanted to gauge the hype level of this one because I personally loved Dread. What did you guys think? Did you? I know Zach, you may not have played it. Are you a Metroid fan? What do you think? I mean, Metroid Ravenous, cool name. I feel like. What are your thoughts?
So you're right. I haven't played Metroid, but I do have buddies that have played it, and I've seen Metroid. I think it's really cool if it's true.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
do like.
Ministry of Justice out there,
Yeah,
serving the gamers.
Yeah.
yeah. I think that's awesome. I think it'd be a good. That'd be really cool. I hope it's true.
Yeah. What do you think,
Yeah.
Dan?
What's interesting here is that if they're posting all this information online about it, that it probably is coming out soon or this year. And then why wasn't it in Nintendo's showcase that was such a dud and such a bummer? They needed something like this in it. That's one. And
Yeah.
then the second thing is I did pick up Metroid Dread. I love 2D Metroids. I did not love Metroid Dread. It did
Whoa.
me. Yes.
I
It
didn't know
did
you
me
didn't
wrong.
like Metroid Dread.
I got all
Really?
the way to the end of it, and like the final boss fight was like really hard and sweaty, and I was just like, you know what? I just did all this GD work, and I get here, and I have to deal with this asshole, and it wasn't even fun. So I was just like, I'm tapping out on this
Yeah.
one. So it's definitely got me thinking twice. There haven't been like such good ones since like Zero and Fusion, and
Yeah.
like those were the bomb. Those were so good. They were comfort food. Even I go back to Super Metroid on occasion, but
Yep.
this one, like, what was the one that you and I played on the 3DS where you had to like reaction time every hit?
I know, like the
That was
count. It was on
annoying.
I know. I
Remember that one?
honestly forget the name of that.
Yeah, you and I played that one. I was
We
like,
did.
oh,
That one was really fun.
it's
But I
backwards.
felt like that. I felt like Dread captured that same sort of essence of that game. And on top of that, Dread had really cool, like almost scary sequences with those monsters thing, like the robots that hunted you down in those boss rooms. Oh, I thought it was good stuff.
It was, but if they try and do something like $70 for it, then I'm
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
like, no way.
If they do a $70 game on card type release, I mean, to me, that's like, I feel like Metroid for me anymore is like a console seller. Metroid 4, that did not sell the console on me at all. I mean, that was just, we all used our eyes to realize that wasn't what it was supposed to be. But if it was a really solid side scroller that they dropped for like $40, I think that could be something cool, worthy of getting a Switch 2 for.
Oh yeah, $40 I'm in for
Yeah,
sure. But there's
definitely.
Nintendo's never done anything like price friendly, so I'm
No.
thinking it's gonna be 70 or 80.
Yeah, you're probably right. Oh, side scroller for 70 or $80, like what a world we live in, man.
I know. Yep, and they'll get you there, and then they're gonna try and get you with that Zelda game, which is like we've played that one 500,000 times, and they're gonna do it like 70 or 80 too, and
Of
it's gonna be a
course.
remake. So man, Nintendo's gonna try and gouge us so hard this December.
It's yeah. We're about to be gouged.
We are. So GTA really better land, because if it doesn't entertain us for months, we're screwed, because it has been a noticeable like lull in games this summer being published, kind of a dry spell. And we're also going to have a super dry spell this winter. So if GTA 6 isn't like the most amazing game that takes up a couple months of mine, oh man, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. It's going to be crazy.
I sure hope it is up to your standards, Dan. I sure hope
Yeah.
so. I
No,
would
well,
I would be really bummed.
agreed. Oh, and don't worry, you're going to hear all about it. But I think the only games that I read about that were up to like taking on GTA 6 were Barbie, I think Horse Adventures, and Godzilla War game, fighting game. So if I don't
Nice.
love GTA, man, I got slim pickings, is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
Barbie to fall back on, man.
Well, if Barbie fought Godzilla, then maybe they might have something there, like a
Nice.
Barbzilla situation. You know what
I'd
I
like
mean?
that.
Like,
Oh, for sure.
yeah, then I
Oh,
might be.
I know. We're gonna have a major drought to look forward to.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
not nice.
But we'll definitely have to chat about it more in the future because that
For
wraps up
sure.
all the video game news we've got for this week. Lord, as always, great talking games with you, my friend.
Great talking.
Yeah, even if unfortunately it's a week where physical media was
Oh,
personally under attack and
rip.
taken up behind the barn and
Rip.
rip for sure. And Zach, thank you for being here. You're truly the best intern ever, and we really
Agreed.
appreciate every time you horrify Lord with your opinion on physical media. It makes me so happy.
Thank you, Zach. Much appreciated.
Of course, yeah. Thank you guys for having me.
On behalf of my co-host Matt Lord, our intern Zach Kohler, and myself, Dan Whitehill, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and as always, good playing with you.
Good playing with you.
Good playing with you.